Hey there, folks. Mark Johnson from Tech Snobs. Going to do a head-to-head of the Galaxy S4 versus the Galaxy S3. Starting out right from the get-go, looking at them, they look very, very similar. There's really nothing too much different, from either one, from an aspect of how they look. I actually just had a benchmark up, but this one is rerunning it. It had a score of like 6,000. I think it was 6,200, and with the quadrant score over here, you're seeing we have over, I want to say that's, 12,682. So what you would expect from a phone that's been out, a year or longer, of course, it should be twice as fast, theoretically at least. Hardware-wise, there are some differences that some people, don't notice them as much, but there are some differences. You can kind of see the chrome around the edge of the S4, and then the shape. It's more rounded on the S3 versus the S4 has a little bit more square feeling. And with that being said, it actually feels better, in the hand, honestly, to hold than holding the S3. So, besides those two things, I mean, obviously you can also see some of the bezel on the left-hand side is thicker on the S3 versus the S4. And the screen quality is majorly upgraded on S4. It's a 1080p display, 5 inches, versus a 4.7 or 8. I think it's a 4.8 inch display over here on the S3. So both phones, decent specs. They've both been out. Well, actually, this one's been out for over a year, or just about a year, the S3, and then you have the S4 that just came out. Now, with that being said, comparing the internals and all that good stuff, obviously the S4 is going to win those. But really, outside of that, take hardware, features aside from the extra motion stuff and all that, S3 is still a very good phone. And one thing I still love about the S3 is, number one, it's now $99. I've seen it $99. I've seen it for $49. I don't think I've seen it less than $49, but I've heard, people getting some nice deals. It might be on Amazon, maybe $29 or so. But for the price, you really can't beat it. Especially for somebody that's a first-time smartphone owner. It literally does everything that most any other phone can do, including the S4, except for, the extra, the crazier features and the speed and so forth. So definitely keep that in mind. Screen quality, camera, all that stuff, S4 wins. But, from a usability standpoint, I mean, the S3 definitely gets the job done. S4, what more can be said? I mean, it definitely has everything thrown in it, including the kitchen sink. And it's a fantastic device. I mean, if you're looking for Android, if you want the best Android's got to offer, it's between this and HTC One, bar none. So look no further there. But between both of these devices, I honestly would say, depending on the person, the user, how much money they want to spend, what do they need a phone to do, I really can't. Even though with the S3 being out a year, I could still highly recommend it for somebody that, hey, I only want to spend $100. I want an Android phone. I want a Samsung. Take a good look at the S3. Now, obviously, if you want the latest and greatest, you don't mind spending $200. I feel that in longevity that the S4 is definitely a much better buy, because in 2 years from now, if you sign a 2-year deal, it'll still be, decent, versus 2 years from now, it'd be kind of hard to say with the S3 because it did come out last year. So you'll be like 3 years behind, to the latest and greatest out there, if you're into that sort of thing. So those are just a couple things to keep in mind. Other than that, nice devices, can't go wrong with either, depending on your situation. And thanks for watching, folks. Be sure to check out the site, tech-snobs.com, for more coverage. Take care.